Guys, can you all see what's going on in ride sharing? Can you all see what's happening in this business space? Let me break it down. Before I go on, in case of those who don't know me, my name is Ehima Otabo and I'm a rideshare driver based here in Lagos. I drive part-time because I have other businesses I try to shuffle with my driving business. Let me give you a rundown of the history of ride sharing. Around 2013 or 14 or thereabouts, Uber kicked off in Nigeria. Uber was the only ride-sharing company as at that time. Some drivers signed up. As at that time, to get car to drive was very easy. Many drivers signed up. A handful of drivers signed up. There was more supply. There was more demand than supply. Business was good for everybody that was a rideshare driver. Everybody was doing fine. Word of mouth. People telling people that if you don't have a job, why not do ride sharing? Talking of around 2015 or so. So the numbers of drivers on the platform started increasing. People even traveled all the way from different parts of the country because at that time it was only available here in Lagos. People traveled from different parts of Abuja. I think Abuja followed up not too long after we were signed up in Lagos. So people travel from different parts, Ogun State, Ibadan, and the likes. So we had all caliber of people doing ride sharing. As the number of drivers increased, the number of bad eggs also increased. So Uber started, exercising some of its disciplinary actions against, erring drivers. Drivers would, try to trick their passengers, try to extort them with money. I will come to why this screen is here and I'll explain why this my green screen is here and how things have really changed. So a lot of drivers got deactivated. Not so long, Bolt now came into the country. Bolt was already existing in a country called Estonia. I think that was the original country, and other countries outside the shores of Nigeria. So they came to Nigeria, and most of those drivers that were blocked from driving on Uber, most of them had another opportunity, a second chance to drive and earn money. So most of them, registered with Bolt and then started driving. So there was competition in the market. There was competition for pricing. There was competition for drivers. If you have an app and you don't have drivers, your app is as good as useless. So there were a lot of promo, signing up promo, bonuses for riders and all. That was the competition. The apps were trying to please drivers and attract riders and drivers. As time goes on, some of the benefits that drivers were benefiting from Uber when Uber was the only ride-sharing company in Nigeria started disappearing because the competition took some of those things out for passengers to enjoy. Let me give you an example. For example, cancellation fee. If you do ride sharing, have you ever been in a situation where you got a request from a rider and after accepting the request, you start your car engine, just on your way driving to pick up, the passenger cancels? Trust me, that can really hurt, especially this kind of time where fueling is very expensive. It's very expensive to fuel your car. So anytime I start my engine, I always want to make it worth it. As at that time, when that happens, Uber will compensate the driver 400 naira automatically. 400 naira. That time, fuel was still 120 away, 130 naira at that time. And they will give you 400 naira. Imagine if that policy is still existing today. If not competition, apps now trying to favor riders more than they favor drivers, because we are the one that do the job. If we position ourselves in a better way, we have a strong, united body, which has been very difficult to establish, because many drivers don't exactly feel proud to identify as a driver. They feel is a minor occupation and all that, so they don't really want. When you say drivers come together, they are shying away from it. So imagine if that policy is still standing to today. Probably it would have increased to, let's say, 800 naira at least. At least that will caution riders that before you order a ride, think it through. Are you really going on this trip? Not you see some passengers playing with the app up and down, especially boats. Boats, passengers cancel anyhow at will. In driver the same thing. They cancel sometimes without even telling you, giving you any information. Even Uber say, if I see customers that cancel anyhow on Uber. So when boats came in, they took out that cancellation fee. They say no more cancellation fee if you can cancel as you like. So a lot of passengers, switched to boats. They switched to boats, coupled with the promotion they did at that time, and then they now started showing drivers destination where they are going to, which made a lot of drivers download the app. So the app had a lot of drivers. And of course, when you have a lot of drivers, you're expected to have a lot of riders, because riders know anytime they place an order, somebody is coming to pick them up, which is the most important thing for the rider. They want to get to where they are going to as soon and as fast as possible. So fast forward some years later, InDriver came into the market. However, Bolt has already also blocked some drivers that are also bad eggs, because as at that time, there was one thing they called Sakamanje then, where a passenger will order a ride, then the driver will use a kind of app or something to make sure the price gets very high. Both discovered some drivers that were doing that, blocked many of them. Then InDriver came and had an open arms. Of course, any app that is coming, we have an open eye to open arms to all sorts of drivers, regardless of your past crime or your defects or your defaults or your downside. They just want drivers to fulfill their passengers' ride. They don't want it that passengers are downloading their app, ordering a ride, and are not getting their ride, fulfilled. They want where riders order ride, their drivers to fulfill those rides. So InDriver came, accepted all the drivers, even some drivers that were even using Uber and Bolt, some of them downloaded it. And this is my problem with drivers downloading every single app that come up in the market. We need to calm down and think things through. They came to the market and crashed the price of ride sharing. They crashed the price. Sometimes when I see the price compared, when I get a ride on InDriver and I compare it with other app, I'll be like, what is this? Not every time though. Sometimes it still favors me. Sometimes when I compare the price, it's almost the same. Like, it's almost the same. I'm judging from the fact that you'll be paying just 10%. So sometimes it's almost the same. But most of the time, they are very ridiculous prices. So they crashed the price and then they gained popularity because the economy shrinked. People are seeking cheaper alternatives. So a lot of riders, migrated to InDriver. That is why we are where we are right now in ride sharing. Before now, in December, in fact, from November, from that October down towards December, expect surge most of the time. I'm telling you, drivers were making as much as 60,000 naira in a day. Some few years ago, 60k, and then money had value. If your car does not have any issue, just be sure that you settle all your, if you have any debt, pending debt, you pay all your debt, you settle a lot of financial things, and you'll be good. But today, fast forward to today. Yesterday I was out. I had some other business. Yesterday was Friday. I had businesses to do. So I went out around, I think 4 o'clock. That 4 o'clock, no surge anywhere. I drove. I said, okay, let me complete that 10 trips, because they're doing 10 trips to get 6,000 naira Uber. There's a promotion running on Uber currently. So I was out till like later in the night, although I didn't plan to stay out all through the night. If you can see, this is 1:11 and I'm feeling very tired. I've not even had my bath. I've just been lying down lazy because I slept out last night. And when you sleep out, it's not like sleeping on your bed. There's total difference. You don't feel like you slept at all. So there was no surge. It was later in the midnight, when all those Lekki movement, all those girls in Lekki want to move, then I started seeing surge. And as at that time, I was kind of tired. I wanted to sleep. Then, I don't know, I noticed the surge again early in the morning when those club goers, if you can see those regions, if you can see this place in Lekki, Ikoyi, this place are where most of the big clubs are in Lagos, Ikoyi, part of Victoria Island, and then Lekki Phase 1. That's why you're seeing a lot of surge. This is around 4:30 to 5. People are trying to go home from clubs. So this is where we are now. And it's so unfortunate that it's at a time where operational cost to run the business is so high, and the only time of the year where we get rewarded, we are almost getting no reward at all. It's just like you have to sacrifice your night sleep, your comfort, the only thing that God give you as medicine to replenish your body. You have to sacrifice it in order to make the good money. Well, I will just say that most of us actually cost it, and I pray we can redeem